It was one of the coldest days in New York City, nearly 30 degrees. The wind was whistling through the buildings like it usually does in New York, and I was waiting in my office for an interview to arrive. She was 2 hours late, and what I wasn't expecting was 72-year-old Carol to be sitting in front of me, asking me for a job. She sat down, removed her hat, removed her scarf, and removed her gloves. When she removed her gloves, I saw her beautiful black skin, her dried, cracked hands with white in between each finger, knowing that it had taken her 2 trains and 1 bus to get to my office. With hesitation, I asked her what I ask every domestic worker when they sit down in front of me for an interview. How can I support you? And she looked at me and said, do you have any housekeeping positions? Something part-time? I could feel the weight of her sadness. I could see the fear in her eyes. Only 2 months prior to her and I sitting together, Carol's sister died. Unfortunately, because of dwelling laws in New York City, this left Carol homeless. Carol spent 30 years working for a family, caring for their children, taking care of their home, making their beds, preparing their meals, loving them when mom and dad weren't around, until they didn't need her anymore. She was homeless. My name is Alyssa Cesarini, and I'm the owner of Innovative Youth Care. Innovative Youth Care is an anti-racist staffing agency located in New York City. We are committed to advocating for every domestic worker that we work with to ensure that they are being paid fairly and legally, so nothing like what happened to Carol happens to anybody that we work with or represent. Changing how parents and employers are hiring and looking at domestic work is extremely important. The value that's being missed, we're helping people understand what that value is, and we're helping recreate the human connection that should be within any home if you're employing somebody to care for your children or your house. Unfortunately, the household staffing industry is modern-day slavery. Black, Indigenous people of color, and immigrant women are being placed in homes every single day, underpaid, overworked, and mistreated. My agency is committed to making sure that this does not occur with anybody that we work with. We are committed to dismantling the systemic racism that is very, very real in this industry. Household staffing industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's run by very wealthy white men. And if this isn't an obvious reason why we are still witnessing modern-day slavery, then I don't know what is. So everybody has a choice, whether you're an employer or an owner of a staffing agency. You can choose to advocate for the domestic workers that are working in the homes of your clients to avoid horrific situations, or you can choose not to. And employers, you can choose to work with agencies that are advocating for those domestic workers that are loving your children every single day and making sure that that's sustainable and consistent, because everybody knows the most important thing for children to thrive is consistency and love. So I ask you all today, make a choice. Are you going to choose to be on the right side of history? Or are you going to choose to be on the wrong side of history? Because today, I choose to be on the right side of history. And if choosing that makes me wrong, I don't want to be right.